Hey, St. Simon, Mr. DeCroce here. So, one of the best coming-of-age books to read in grade 7, or the intermediate division for that matter, is S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders. It's a great book also about stereotypes and misconceptions. While it was written in the late 1960s, its themes are still quite relevant and recurring today for both adolescents and adults. This is why it remains a classic must-read for elementary students. Now, throughout the story, S.E. Hinton references a number of iconic celebrities, actors, movies, books, singers, bands, fashion styles, beverages, cigarettes, and cars that make up what's considered the popular culture of that era, as you can see here in the Venn diagram. Okay, I've illustrated cars like the Corvair, the Corvette, the Mustang, the Thunderbird. You've got some actors, Paul Newman, James Dean, Steve McQueen. Then you've got the Beatles, Elvis Presley, Hank Williams, country music star. You've got some books and movies, Gone with the Wind, that ties in with The Southern Gentleman. That's really about the American Civil War, so you may want to Google that, get some information about the American Civil War and Southern Gentleman. Great Expectations, another popular book of the time. A popular movie, Beach Blanket Bingo. If you got some fashion here, you've got leather jackets. The socials wear madras shirts, these plaid shirts. Hair grease, okay. This is a brand of cigarettes, Kool. Alright, that was, I know it's not cool today, smoking definitely not, but back then, yeah, definitely. But what I want to do focus on, though, is the fact that while all these trends and styles come and go over the years, over the decades, we do tend to classify and even judge others based on their preferences, based on the products that they consume, their media choices, their sense of fashion, the neighborhood in which they live, the circle of friends they keep, and so forth and so on. I think this still holds true in the 2020s as it did in the 1960s. We all have opinions. We all have misconceptions of those considered to be well-off, rich in society, or those struggling to get by, or those people that are somewhere in between those two. I think this all started coming to light when Ponyboy discussed the differences between Tuff, T-O-U-G-H, and Tuff, T-U-F-F, early in chapter 1. He says, and I quote, "Tough is the same as rough. Tough means cool, sharp, like a tough-looking Mustang or a tough record. In our neighborhood, both are compliments." Now, young adolescents today are, I would say, deeply immersed in digital and social media, which they either, as you know, follow, like, or even subscribe to. And these companies such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, etc., they collect data based on their follows, their likes, and subscriptions in order to essentially sell you on more products, to build brand loyalty, brand influence. After all, they are targeting a specific customer, or as it's called, demographic. Now, people assert their individuality, their status in society, or sometimes they just try to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, by consuming and promoting popular brands, especially high-end luxury items, okay, that they work hard to obtain, sometimes just because of what those products say about them to others, okay? Status symbols have always existed and will continue to exist. So while reading The Outsiders, I invite you to compare and contrast, okay, look at similarities and differences that was considered tough, T-U-F-F, in the 1960s, as Ponyboy puts it, with that which is considered to be trending, so to speak, in the 2020s. I think you'll find that when you do compare and contrast, you're going to see that the similarities all involve, you know, fashion, music, books, movies, cars, celebrities, status symbols, neighborhoods, stereotypes. Okay, all of these things come and go, but at the same time remain the same. As a follow-up, though, I would invite a discussion of what these preferences reveal about one's individuality. After all, the products are marketed and advertised to a specific customer base. So if you look at the Tuff 1960 icons pictured here on the Venn diagram, you should be able to find an equivalent in the current 2020s. Okay, so, you know, think of Drake, think of Brad Pitt, think of Gucci, think of what other popular movies, you know, like there are. Some things, you know, maybe have come and gone, like drive-in movies was a thing back then, you know, like we've evolved now to online platforms, Netflix, you know, all of these streaming services, YouTube, you know, cigarettes back then were really pushed with alcohol, and you know, times have definitely changed, and we've become definitely more health conscious. But yeah, though, you know, the muscle cars of the age, you know, Chevrolet and Ford still continue to be popular car brands. We've got Coca-Cola. My goodness, Coca-Cola is so iconic. All right, and you know, like we've got celebrities that give off this, you know, tough, manly image here, like Steve McQueen. He, you know, he was known as the king of Kool. James Dean, his movie, most famous movie, if I'm not mistaken, was Rebel Without a Cause. You know, Mr. Suave here, Paul Newman, very, you know, classy sort of actor. You know, like all of these people and products and movies and fashion, Mickey Mouse, my goodness, you know, Disney is so iconic. You know, some of them still, you know, like remain today, and you know, have evolved in their own way, shape, and form, and some of them have got their own equivalent, okay, in the 2020s. So that's it for now. Happy reading and happy comparing and contrasting the 1960s with the 2020s popular culture.